Hi Angie, this is going to be your Akashic reading. And before I start your reading, I would like to do a little bit of some shamanic drumming for you for healing. Because while I was outside, I was just receiving a lot of information about you involving your Native American heritage and your many Native American lives. And I felt to do some shamanic drumming for you to activate some of these Native American codes within you, like I like to say DNA codes that is in our soul's blueprint, to help you to have past life memories so you can have past life clearing. Because I feel like most of your clearing has to do with a lot of your Native American heritage, okay? So I'm just going to start with a little drumming and then I'm going to communicate to you the channel messages that I have been receiving all night long about you. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so basically that was to really help you pull out a lot of your, like I like to say, your light body soul's DNA, activate those little DNA codes to really promote healing, especially these Native American lives. I do feel like you've had prominently a lot of incarnations in the Hopi Native American tribe, and I feel like in this lifetime and many lifetimes, even prior to this one, I feel like you've been searching for your soul family. I feel like there's a lot of sadness surrounding you in this lifetime because of the fact that you really yearn for that soul family. Because I feel like in this Hopi tribe, your guides in the fall of the Hopi tribe, when the all this kind of stuff went down. I like to say it's genocide. I feel like in the higher realms, your spirit guides gave you a choice. You could incarnate or you could ascend, because a lot of the Hopi tribe people, they ascended. They decided when their land was destroyed and the world was kind of leaning away from purity and more leaning away from more leaning towards ego, because you are not ego based at all. You are very, very pure, just like the Hopi tribe. A lot of them in their this incarnation, when a lot of them basically were killed a lot of them made the conscious choice in after they died in that incarnation to ascend to another planet that was already designed for these Hopi tribes to continue to. It was a place that really was more in alignment and more in sync their their the core soul essence that all the Hopi people tribe had, like a culture. This planet was more designed for that particular culture. Okay, that I like to say that soul essence, that unique soul identity that these Hopi tribes all were collectively taking part in. But you decided to stay on Earth. Okay, you decided to stay on Earth because you had this hope. Okay, you had this hope, this deep, passionate hope that um, you could be basically a lighthouse, and that through your incarnating, okay, through not just in through a couple incarnations, that you could help bring back this Native American culture, this Hopi Native American culture that it is coming right now, okay, and that is people call a spiritual awakening. This spiritual awakening is very much connected to the Hopi Native American tribes, all really a lot of Native American tribes of the North and South America, okay, especially the Hopi because I feel like they're like one of the oldest, and they've really have gained a lot of ancient wisdom, okay, through their passing the generation to generation to generation. They've really elevated themselves and gone to this really high vibrational state of enlightenment through their expansion of their Native American family. As they grew bigger, they became more wiser and they became more enlightened. And you took part in this. And I also feel in your incarnations of Native American, you've had a lot of children. And I feel your children's, the fathers of your children, I do feel you've seen them in these Native American tribes, but they're not your soul family. These men, as you may already know, they're not your soul family, but you do have a past life connection with them. But your children, in particular, there's one girl. I feel like she may be the oldest girl, and I feel like that's the name you named after the because they're showing me dragons. So I know one of your kids is named after the one of the princess, the queen of dragons. I feel you have a really deep connection with this girl. I don't know if she's your oldest or second oldest, but I can see her in my face, in my third eye, and she does look like she's not like a baby. She's older, almost like getting to become like a preteen pretty soon, maybe a couple years. And I feel like you and her, you've always had her when you were very young. Like I feel like you had her when you were like maybe 11 or 12 years old. So you kind of grew up like almost like sisters because you were like only 10 years apart. And I feel like also you were, you took care of a lot of the children. I feel like you were, I almost want to say like a caretakers. I don't know if that's the right appropriate word for what I'm visually seeing, but I do feel like a lot of the children would come to you, and while their parents, such as the moms, would be doing clothing and gardening, and the fathers would be hunting and doing building canoes and chopping wood to build homes. I feel like you were very much you would be teaching these children. I feel like you were very wise and you had a lot of ideas, almost like a very philosophical mind. You had a lot of ideas, and I feel like the adults could not maybe fully be able to visualize your ideas because they were so expansive, but they were very open. The Hopi Native Americans were very open. They were very open, and they were so open that they wanted you to teach the children because they felt that the children would be able to conceptualize it and visualize it better than the adults. So they literally were like, they put you in the position where you were literally, they just go do what you do. Just go do you. Just tell the kids the ideas you have, because I know they're going to be able to visualize it. And I mean, like almost kind of like a storyteller as well. I do get this feeling of a storyteller. And also, you did a lot of movement. You would teach children how movement can is a way to really unlock the mind. Okay, like subtle movement is how you really unlock the mind. And I do feel like you did a lot of. I just see you on the beach doing like these sort of yoga movements, and there's just like all these kids like copying you, like they're kind of like trying to follow you, and they're just like trying to like, like they're like your little shadows. And you do have a really deep connection with water, with oceans, with lakes. There's a deep connection with lakes because that's um, I feel like that's where you got gain a lot of your sense of ease and peace. And I do feel like in this incarnation has been hard for you because of the fact you're not having that soul family sort of support and love. Because in this Hopi tribe, I mean everybody was supporting one another, and there was no such even concept of ego, because ego didn't exist. Therefore, there was no such thing as the word ego because it didn't exist. Okay, and I do feel there has been some lives where well, this final life where I really it was a big transition from the Hopi Native American lives where literally you'd incarnate into like the same family like generation after generation. For example, like you would get older, you get an old person and then you die and then you come back as your child's child, or your child, or you basically come back as your like great granddaughter or something like that. So you it would be like keep cycling back, like the same soul family members kept cycling back as like the kids. It's like you die and then you'd come back as, like I said, your granddaughter or your great granddaughter. So that's kind of an interesting sort of a cycling that I feel like took place in many of your incarnations. And I do feel like you've not really traveled around this world. There's many souls who travel around, meaning they, go to Asia, they go to Europe, or they go to, Australia or South America. They kind of see it all, like backpackers traveling around the world and like souls in incarnations. But you've really much stayed to, I feel like it has to do with North or South America in Central America as well. I feel like you've made it one of your soul's missions to keep the wisdom of your people alive, okay? Alive through being the embodiment of it, being the embodiment of simplicity, of surrender, of purity. I feel like you've been the does not, it doesn't leave the planet, that sort of vibration. You're holding this vibration for a collective consciousness of the Hopi people, okay? And there's very few of you, like I said, very few Native American Hopi people. It's like there's this, I would say maybe 30, 40, maybe 50 of these soul pod troop that tribe that were very pure and very much connected with their clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. I feel like they even started tapping into telekinesis, and definitely had a deep telepathic abilities. Deep telepathic is one of their main sort of gifted abilities. They could communicate with nature, and they could communicate with the world, and they knew when like disasters would come, like storms, because they could telepathically communicate with the world to be able to predict that. So they were very, very ultra sensitive and connected to the world, and that's why a lot of them they've decided to ascend to this other planet that has already been designed for them, for their, so they can, live out their culture, without distractions or, you know, manipulation and all that kind of stuff. that's, like I said, more in sync with their vibration. And I do feel like I said, there's very few of you right now on the planet. Because I said most of you, when Americas were really getting colonized, that's when a lot of you decided to leave. I feel like this maybe was 1800s, 1700s. But I feel like a lot of you are going to be coming back. Okay, a lot of you are going to decide to come back because is the world as a whole is wanting to step more towards simplicity and purity rather than accumulation and discouragement of each other and of themselves, sort of vibration. Because the planet it cannot handle all of these vibrations of accumulating. People, not only are they hoarding such as food, excessive eating, as well as hoarding cars, homes, money, um, past experiences, they're accumulating vibrations and energy. Okay? And the more people are like hoarding, meaning like not letting go of like the energy, the more it builds. Okay? Just like when you're hoarding your emotions, it builds and builds and builds until it's like it literally consumes you and it makes you old or it drains you. You get a deep, deep depression. And I feel like um, the reason the planet is wanting to turn more towards simplicity, letting go, releasing, enlightenment, purity, because ego is like, again, the accumulation. Ego just, it doesn't want to let go of things. It wants to figure everything out, and that kind of just keeps it like people like holding on. So there's all this energy around the planet, like a lot of energy around the planet, and it's just too much. It's too much, okay? Because none of it's being transmuted. It's just like sitting there. It's just, imagine the world is kind of getting like a hoarder's home, hoarder's home where it's just like stacks of stuff all the way to the ceiling, and it's getting so heavy that the planet literally has to make a decision. The planet, Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, is like, I need to let a lot of stuff go. Mother Gaia really loves fertility. Mother Gaia likes birth, likes things to be coming in, coming in, coming in. But what's happening now is there's so much stuff coming in and there's just not enough coming out. So Mother Gaia is almost being forced to look at the world, look at what she's created, the intention of, fertility, and keep creating, and there's no destruction happening, no letting go. And Mother Gaia is being forced, if she wants to exist, if Earth wants to exist, to thrive and to be alive, then she's going to have to kind of cut this whole, just keep fertility, like keep, more and more and more birth, more creative ideas, more and more and more. Okay. And I feel like this is why your Hopi people are coming back, because it's like a doorway is opening where the return of purity, innocence, and more of being in sync with one another, being more the same vibration. Because in order for this clearing to really happen, people need to get on the same vibration, meaning a lot of stuff is going to be let go of, meaning a lot of souls are probably going to be leaving this planet because there's going to be this vibration, okay? This vibration that every single soul is going to have to come in common grounds with this vibration. Right now we have all these vibrations everywhere. We have vibration of ego and desperation and vibration of love and compassion. It's just like all over the place. So in order to get this clearing going, so this doesn't keep building up like a hoarder house and the stuff's going to the ceiling, is Gaia is setting this standard, okay, this standard vibration, which I feel like it is like simplicity as well as creation, rebirth, but it's like a good balance between, it's not just fertility, and then no releasing, no releasing. So it's coming to this balance where there's there's fertility, but then there's also, a lot of releasing, and that is also it's the death of the ego, because the death of the ego is what keeps this whole, like, keep building and building and building and building. That's the whole thing of the ego. Let's keep expanding, let's keep exploring, let's keep making more, let's keep fertility going and keep, more and more. So the ego's dying. So when the ego dies, that's like an opening for your people to come back in incarnations and to begin to teach the children the ways of the Hopi people, the way of simplicity, the way of community, like almost like socialists, community. Not America, but the world, pretty much I would say at a whole is pretty much like a capitalist sort of vibration of more profit, more profit. We could profit more. And socialist is very much about what your community was about. Like just working together, exchange of wisdom, like valued wisdom above all things, of all things. The opportunity to reach another state of enlightenment was the ultimate value. Okay, to become wiser was the ultimate value. And you had this, and a lot of times you feel alone, you feel isolated, you feel like you're just like an alien. I feel like even when you were young, you maybe even had thoughts of suicide. Like you just want to end your life. Like, I just can't take this heaviness. I can't take these ego driven people. But you must realize that you are this beacon of light. You are this lighthouse for the children that are going to come in. I do feel like you are going to, I do see you having like a studio. Yeah, I see a studio. And because I see like mirrors and I see like a wooden floor. And I feel like this may be in a tropical place, or maybe in a place that is just, there's like really no busyness going on, like no distractions where people are just like, road rage and ego people. It seems like a very tropical sort of place where I can feel like there's like windows. It's like an open sort of space, where it's not like, it's like there's open, like it's almost like it's an indoor outdoor sort of studio. And I do feel like it may be somewhat of a retreat that you have. And I feel like a lot of people are going to come and they're going to bring their children. And I feel like it has to do with like body movements. I feel like you're going to become very successful at this. It's like body movements, yoga, kundalini. It's like a kundalini awakening. And also I do feel like um, you're going to like meet um, members of your soul family through this as well. You may even like collaborate, go into business with members of your soul family. Because I feel like right now you're really coming into acceptance of the world. I feel like the reason why it was so difficult for you before, and maybe the past months or years, is because you did not accept this world. You had a belief system that was like, I don't accept this world. Therefore, it caused you to isolate yourself, caused you to just reflect constantly on your time in the Hopi tribe. Okay? And therefore that belief system caused just you rejecting this world. It's like rejecting experiences, like I don't want that, I don't want that. Therefore caused a lot of like resistance, which leads to pain and difficulties. So you deciding to accept the world and the ego for the way it is, has really gotten you to this new level of enlightenment. Okay? And that's, I feel like also when it comes to your twin flame, accepting him the way he is, I feel like that has also been one of your life lessons. One of your life lessons is to accept the world the way it is and not try to change it, not try to be like, oh, this world needs to change because it's not, like this world is not perfect. It's far from perfect. Changing that belief to this world is perfect. All things are in alignment. All things are as it should be for the greater good of the cosmos. Because everything is always trying to reach its state of greater good. Just as plants, it always reaches its utmost state of the greater good of the plant. Okay? Either plants are conscious of it or they're not. They're always going to their ultimate, their highest, their good. Okay? Highest good. Just like, bees and insects, bugs, birds, always consciously or unconsciously moving towards its greatest sort of outcome. Okay? For not just that species, but for the whole world. The whole world. Species migrate to a particular place that's not random, because let's say they go to that place and they birth some kind of new species, or a new plant is born from these species interacting with this region, then that is a divine orchestration. Okay, but a lot of the species, birds, bugs, they don't know that when they decide to just migrate to a place. They think they're doing it by random, but really there's a divine plan. Maybe they need to be there because they can help with the pollination of a plant that may be dying because there's not enough pollination from insects. Okay, so changing your beliefs to everything is divinely planned, even when it comes to your twin flame, that's really going to make all the difference to help you surrender and help you realize that this is actually, everything is perfect, but you have this idea that everything is not perfect. And also to really let go of your parents. You have some anxieties, I feel like, is the word, about your parents. I feel like you wish you would have had some more support. I feel like your parents were, I don't know, the word narcissistic is coming up, and the word just not supportive of you is coming up, and I feel like there's a lot of discouragement, and it's almost making me emotional and a little bit sad, because I can feel like this sense of rejection you feel from your parents, even when it comes to your kids. I feel like you get a lot of people, people, like almost like people, I can hear it, like voices saying like, you're not a good parent, you're a terrible parent, you're irresponsible, you're just, your life is not in the in your life is just not going anywhere, sort of thoughts. And we need to get rid of those thoughts, because you're meant to do something that is important. I can see it, I can visualize yourself having this sort of outdoorsy, looks like a Central American, or yeah, Central American sort of yoga, kundalini, tantric people come to, and it's like a community. I feel like you're going to take the Hopi tribe's teachings and you're going to literally make it and like a community that people come to take part in this, because it's like rejuvenates them. It unlocks their spiritual, like their light body DNA codes, and it brings such ease. It's going to be for people who are really looking for to really not just be spiritually awakened. They already are spiritual awakened, but they're looking to really further go deep inside of their like stillness, like their meditative state. And I feel like also you may do some studying with, I don't know, I'm seeing like a monk, Buddhist, Hindu, maybe it's Hindu. I feel like there's something about Hindu you're going to pick up. You've actually had incarnations in as a Hindu monk, because I can see you like have like darker skin, almost yellow, and wearing this orange robe. It's like an orange robe, and there's like a satchel. Is it a satchel? I think not a satchel. It's like it goes like across, and it's yellow, and there's like some red too, and you're like head shaved, and I feel like there's like a symbol on your third eye, like a little like like ash or something like that. And I do see all these like totems of like of elephants in the background, like you're sitting in this chair, like meditating, this nice sofa looking chair that's like red cushion, red backing, and it's like a tall chair. It reminds me of like a royal chair, but it's almost looks like a sort of couch chair, and there's all this stuff on the wall behind you, and it's like elephants and very like I like to say like totem animals, totem things such as I see like ancient, like little statue, like little statue trinkets of the ancient ones, like the elders, the elder people, the elders that ascended, that reached a state of true ascended consciousness that you look up to because they figured out how to transcend this physical reality, okay? How to reach a state of pure consciousness. So I see you as, and I see children in front of you. I see boys. I see a lot of young boys from age 7 to I feel age 18, and they're sitting like there's just a bunch of them. It's like an open space. It's just like an open space, like a wood floor, and I see all of these boys, or boys slash teenager, almost adult, and they're like literally they look like you. They look like your mini yous. They have the same outfit. They're shaved. They look skin yellow, brownish yellow though, and they look like you little yous, and they're following you. And I do feel like you did a lot of. They're showing me like the movie Karate. What is it? Karate movie, something a karate movie, where see you learning like the craft of like perfect balance, where you can do like perfect movements and perfect balance, and you've actually learned this. And I do feel like it is in Asia, and I see this water. You live near this beautiful water, um, and you had a very lovely family in this particular incarnation. Very lovely family, a very peaceful life. It was very simple. You didn't really need anything. There was not really many people in this village. It was mainly a village. I feel like of argue. It's like farming, architecture. No, agriculture is what I'm trying to say. But the plants, I feel like there's a lot of water, and the plants grow out of the water. Like it's not a deep water. It's very like to your calf or like your ankle, and like I see a lot of stuff growing out of the water. And you would kind of go out there, and you kind of like there would be berries in the water, all these like tall grass looking thick grass, not thin, like thick grass, almost like tulips. You see the leaves, not the leaves, the stems that come with tulips. It kind of reminds me of that, like the green tulip leaves stems. um I feel like that was an incarnation. You were a young man, and you very much you took after your father a lot. And I feel like your father was like a deep he was deep into like books, like definitely deep into like ancient religion, ancient, I feel like maybe it was Hinduism, or the religion of that culture, that was very much connected to like ascension and how to really unlock the mind to be able to, activate clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, very much like spiritual abilities. And I feel like you took after your father, and you began to learn about these things that your father was very passionate about. And one thing that you really took to was movement, body movement, fluidity of movement, kind of like karate movement, but not of like defensive, like fighting, but more of like fluid, like just so graceful looking movement, but it looked really difficult. So that was a very interesting lifetime. So I do feel like there has been a little of expanding of your soul a little bit when it comes to incarnations and branching off in different regions of the world. But mainly you've been very sheltered. You've had parents that very much sheltered you from the world. You're not used to incarnating in cities. You would never dare incarnate in like New York City or like Chicago or California. I feel like that energy would be way too much ego for you to be able to handle that. You probably would exit out of the planet like early. Not because of your doing, but because you just energetically you wouldn't be able to handle it. I do feel like don't worry so much about what people are thinking about you. There's so much chatter going on in your head and from people outside, and just ignore them. Like delete their numbers, even if it's like your parents. Like I just feel like you need to really just go within and realize that you are a beautiful soul. That you are a beacon of light. You're here to keep this ancient wisdom that's, people like almost like they didn't want that, they rejected it, the Hopi in Native American teaching. And you're here to keep that because people want it. They're looking for it right now. Because, like I said about the planet, and it needs to find balance, or the planet will literally like die. Okay? Just like with Atlantis and Lemuria. Atlantis, it got too big. They kept growing and growing, but they weren't releasing anything. So, what happened is, in order for the planet to get an equilibrium, it had to like like the planets, like a tsunami came and took over the region that feel like that a portion of that continent, and because there's just a lot of like too much energy being hoarded on that region, there's just like a heaviness that the planet could not handle. Okay, so it had to get rid of it, had to wash it clean, such as like a tsunami washes that energy clean. So it's not just this one heavy stagnant spot of all this build up stuff, like a horror home that's stuck to the ceiling. So you're here because when people are really ready, they're spiritually awakened, but when they're really wanting to come to simplicity and pure love, you're you are really going to be needed. You're really needed right now. Okay? But you're really going to be needed because right now people are like on they're like do I want to be pure and cleanse myself and do all that work, because they see it as work right now. People see it as work, healing themselves, like it's an effort, like it's a challenge, like it's difficulty, but it's not. It's difficulty because people won't let go. They're like clamping on, like that's why it's so hard, because when they make the conscious choice to heal themselves and to be reach a pure state of consciousness and simplicity, they want to transcend beyond this world and not get in the repetitive cycle of incarnating again and again and again, oblivious and just wandering around like, what am I doing? I don't know. And then just doing that for incarnations. They want to let go, but they're like, it's painful because they're trying to pull away at the same time they're trying to hold on, and that's calling it's in this weird sort of energy dynamic. So when they're really ready to let go, they'll completely surrender, and they'll just be like, I can't do this. I need to just let go. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know where I'm supposed to be going, but I'm just going to sit still in this moment, and I'm just going to trust in the higher power. And not too many people are ready for that right now. They're spiritually awakened and they know they have that option, but they're not taking that option right now because they're still undecided about if they really can surrender. They see surrender and trust as like a difficult thing. Maybe because, the whole programs that replaced the whole Hopi Native American tribe of simplicity and patience and community, what replaced it was of reliance on the system, a system that I don't even know who made the system, like the hierarchy system, reliant on physical things, reliant on, I don't know, I don't even know what it is reliant on, but it's just really dependent, not on themselves, like their inner stillness within, but dependent on all things externally, like the senses, the physical senses. In the Hopi tribe, you could have blind men that literally could just walk around. They could just walk around and they wouldn't be bumping into things because they were not reliant on their physical five senses. They had, I don't even know, like 12 senses they activated. The five, and then others like clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, the telepathy, telekinesis, all that collective consciousness, vibration. So, you know, trusting in something you cannot see through, you cannot perceive or visualize through your five senses, that's hard for people with their current perception of it being hard because of the fact they're so used to being reliant on their physical self, physical appearance, physical brain, physical life, physical actions. It's all physical. So you're not physical. You've really activated a lot of your gifts. It's just you have this inner like voice, like discouragement. Like you don't feel like good enough. You don't feel like these people have gotten a hold of you and have made you feel the lesser of a person. I'm trying to tell you that you need to do the affirmation that you are a cherished, admired, angelic soul, okay? And that you are here to spread angelic love, to transmute the heaviness into light, into optimism, up to uplifting energy. Okay, there's a lot of you feel like there's a lot of rejection in your life. A lot of people are rejecting you. They're not rejecting you, it's just you're sort of rejecting yourself. You're sort of rejecting that affirmation that's in your heart is I'm cherished and I'm admired because I'm an angelic being. You're rejecting that truth about yourself. Therefore, it's manifesting through people rejecting you and your innocence and your kindness and your compassion because you're rejecting that about yourself. Okay? You're rejecting the idea. It's like you hear the angel voice of yourself telling you you're a cherished, admired, angelic soul. And then you sort of reject that. And then it manifests in like your worst nightmare of like fear of like, being rejected because you're rejecting yourself is manifested in people, like your twin flame, for example. You feel like your twin flames are rejecting you, it's because you have a belief going on about yourself that you're rejecting that you're an angelic soul. It's like you don't believe it. You don't believe what you have to say has a value. So we need to get yourself to the affirmation of everything I have to say is of value. Our videos, 4-hour videos, keep going with that, okay? Realize when you change your mind state to what I have to say is value, have great value, then people will begin, your external reality, the way people respond to you will be very different. They'll begin to be like, Angie, this stuff is really good. Because you're putting out to the universe, you're projecting out through your mind that everything I have to say is value. The world around you bends to your mind. Okay, meaning it complements your mind. It validates what your mind is saying. So if your mind is saying I don't have that much of value, then literally the universe around you will bend to complement that, to validate that. So change your mind to everything I have to say is value. The world will bend to validate that to you, that you're of value. Everything is merely just resonating with your mind. Everything around you is just literally aligning up with your mind, reflecting what your mind is saying to yourself or saying to others or in your dreams or a subconscious mind. So with that being said, I'm just going to end this reading right now, and I'm going to pick up this reading a little later because I have to pick up my mom from work. But I just had so many channel messages come. I was like, whoa! I had to run home because I was outside meditating, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta get this out. It's like, oh my gosh. So, and I feel like there's a little bit more, and I was gonna, pull some cards for you. So when I get back, I'll do that for you, chica. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this portion. Bye.